Yeah. Now we're talking. Oh, he's so good. Look, he's so turned right now. Look, he wants to impress everybody. You could tell, like, if we're gonna watch him, like, he's gotta go. He's gotta throw some shimmies and shit. Nah, put that shit away, bro. Nah, we gotta keep him on the AR, bro. We gotta keep him on the AR.
I think I might run a sub next year.
Oh, good. Warm up.
I wouldn't do that.
I see a lot of OpTic jerseys in here, but I don't give a single fuck, so I'll be here.
All right, yo, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I am your host, Borito, the #1 CDL ESPN analyst / content creator in the world. And we are on the eve of the Major 4 qualifiers, the last qualifiers of the season. Maybe some of you guys are happy. Maybe some of you guys are sad. You know what? I'm sad because, I'm going to court with a roommate. But that's a different story entirely. Yeah, I'm getting sued. I'm countersuing, there's a lot going on in the world in the world of Borito outside of this. And I also got to move at the end of June. So that may derail my Paris plans as I try to navigate the world. It's very interesting. There's a lot going on. But you know what's still the same? Another episode of the Borito Talk podcast, and we're going to do a nice little quick episode a cappella. Pulled up the tabs. We're going to talk about these roster changes, not do a tier list or anything like that, but we're going to talk about the roster changes. We're going to get right into Dylan Envoy getting released from Paris. He is the guy that they chose. And, I'm going to get into this tweet that I wrote. I'm not going to read my tweet. You guys could see it open. It got great interactions, actually. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I keep saying that all the time. I got to stop saying that. But I'm pretty much going to summarize this tweet for those of you on video or for those of you on audio. So pretty much the most interesting thing about this whole Paris Gentlemates thing is that they had two players underperforming. They had Sib and they had Envoy. But the thing about the league and the current state that it's in, there's a lot of viable SMG options. There's a lot of good SMGs out there in challengers and in the league for trades, for swaps, for transfers, everything. There's so many good SMGs. But the league and challengers, I've said this before and I'm saying it again, has a severe famine in great AR players. And I'm talking AR players that can do high objective work without dropping 0.7, have slang consistency, ones that are fast and don't just iron all the time and play slow and let the game happen in front of them, and then they're just like behind their team. It's hard to find a good AR that flows with the rest of the team. Mercury is, once again, undeniable, an anomaly of an AR player, like an AR who plays at the pace of an SMG and is able to fill, and you see how much easier it makes everyone's jobs last year and even like this year still, even though they get a bunch of second places. Very hard to find an AR player like that. So when you have a player like Sib, who's not playing great, but he's at least putting up damage, okay? He has pretty high engagements. Envoy is the highest engagements on the team, but Sib is right after him. So when you have an AR with high engagements, it's very hard to let that go. It's a lot easier just to replace an SMG with a better SMG, because having good SMGs that are more consistent could make the game a lot easier for your team. And that's pretty much what Paris did, as I pulled the statistics real quick. So Dante right now is at 0.97. Okay, he's at 0.97. But if you take a look at the damage here, so like Envoy's up top was 62 engagements. Dante's pretty much at 62 engagements as well. But it's like there's a severe drop-off in KD. Envoy's at 0.92 in hardpoint. Dante's at 0.95. But if you take a look at the damage per 10, 3369 from Dante. Very, very high. You could always count him for damage. But if you're an AR, the damage is great, but you have to finish your kills. You're pre-aiming. You're holding lanes. Yes, you're getting damage, you're tagging, you're trading, you're finishing off kills, but you're not getting kills of your own. And I think that's Dante's biggest thing. And you pair that up, You pair his engagements with his objective time per 10, and he's actually doing his team a big disservice. The only positive is that he's keeping up with the pace of his team, but what he's doing is a liability. I always feel like ARs should just naturally have more objective time unless like the SMGs are soaking and you're frying on the outside, but he's not frying on the outside, so maybe he should get in the hill more. Honestly, like back then in older Call of Duty, it would be SMGs on the hill and ARs slaying on the outside. But now with the way the SMGs have evolved over the years, the SMG is like the more powerful gun. It's the more takeover gun. So a lot of SMGs are outside the hill, and ARs are more in the hill, except for him. And he's not doing. I think this is just not the right move. Okay, I just think it's not the right move. I'm gonna get into this, so I'm gonna read this part of my paragraph. Okay, I'm gonna read this part. So I said, Envoy is the only serial winner on this team. I would personally view him as the glue for these personalities and not get rid of him. For the speed he's playing at right now, he's not anticipating the next fight enough, which leads to his terrible score lines. In a team with this much pace, he could afford to slow down and be a little more ratty, think a little more. But I think he's also running into deaths more because Sib isn't being that plug-in secondary / third objective player. That would really make a big difference. And then we're going to get into Estro after. I think Envoy just didn't play for himself enough. I think the one thing with this Paris team's gameplay is that they always try to keep the pace. But sometimes Envoy's doing it to a detriment. And I'm not going to say School of Kenny. Okay, I'm not going to say School of Kenny. But it felt like a lot of mindless deaths. If you watch him a lot of times, especially when it comes to hardpoint, and honestly even S&D, but more hardpoint, and you just see the way he just sprints into deaths and doesn't like pre-aim, doesn't slow down, doesn't anticipate more. At the Major 1 tourney, when you saw him play, he was reading the game very well. He was slowing down more. He wasn't just running into things. He was reading where players were coming from, was able to hold a pre-aim, securing more kills, and it made Parrish's job a lot easier. And him going into a team with Skies and Kremp and Nasty, which we're going to get into, is interesting, but I think that could also come with a lot of inconsistency. But first, we're going to talk about Estro real quick. So I also said Estro replacing him sounds very underwhelming to the public until you realize he's a 1.05 OVR while being the Hilkin objective player on his mediocre team. Most league players can't even average 0.95 while having no objective responsibility, aka Dante. So getting that consistency on the objective plus maintaining the pace would help Paris a lot and frees up Ghosty more. But you lose the veteranship and leadership in a team filled with bandits. Estro won't add to the comms like Envoy does. So we've seen some leaked pictures of scrims. I'm not going to pull it up because I forgot where it is. Actually, I have it in my Discord, to be honest. I have it in my Discord. So there's some leaked scoreboards of the scrims that Paris is playing. You know, they're playing pretty good. You see Estro with like the highest hill time. You see Dante with the least, you know, as per usual. I don't know why, by the way. I don't know why he doesn't hop on the hill more. I think Sib needs to channel his MW3 champs NYSL. That's what I think he needs to, because that was, I thought, the best version of him. I honestly thought it was the best version of him because a player with that much skill being able to hold his own on the hill makes everyone's job easier. A player that can stay alive, get damage on the hill, makes the people around you who are better at making decisions on the map, no offense, to actually flourish. And I think that's a recipe for success that they're just not doing because Dante wants to be... I'm so sorry for the yawns. That's like 3 yawns in 8 minutes. Oh my god. Yeah, but Dante kind of just wants to be like the superstar player that does whatever he wants. But I mean, I don't really think he's a superstar player, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. And then, I mean, there's this other screenshot. I'm pulling up the wrong thing here. I'm pulling up OBS. Oh my god. I'm pulling up OBS. Just a complete L. But yeah, just some screenshots. And... pretty much, I don't think so. I think this pair team is gonna like play well, but when we talk about getting deeper in the tourney and we talk about comms and leadership, who's going to be the leader on this team? You could say that Ghosty's a good leader, but he's a player that also gets flustered, maybe gets flustered less with, okay. I'm going to give you my speculation on Paris. This is a terrible podcast already. I can tell it's a terrible podcast with the way I'm freaking talking. Okay. Not with what I'm saying, but how I'm talking. I've always thought, okay, I was doing some speculation. Okay. I speculated on stream too. I thought, me personally, no inside information at all, just me speculating. I always thought that it was Sib and Ghosty on one side and Envoy on the other, and Neptune just neutral in the middle. That's what I thought. And I think that played a catalyst into Envoy getting dropped. That's just my opinion, my speculation. I think maybe Envoy wanted to play a certain way and the other people want to play another way. And you could tell with just like the way they were all interacting with each other at these major tourneys, even in the games, that it was not the same. It was not the same camaraderie that we saw in Major 1. In Major 1, they were laughing, they were joking, all this stuff. And now you saw Major 2 or Major 3, and you see the way that they interact with each other. It's not the same. You could definitely tell there's like something wrong. Obviously, they know there's cameras around trying to save face. But I always thought there was like an internal issue that they're just never going to talk about probably until maybe the end of the season. If it was me personally, I'm putting... Actually, I don't even care. I would actually trade him. I would trade Sib for somebody. Like, I would find a better AR. Who's a better AR? Oh, my God. Insight? Oh, my God. No. That would actually be insane. That'd be insane. He would be the exact opposite pace. But honestly, a Paris team with Envoy, a Ghosty, and Neptune sprinting around, and Insight just sitting on the hill ironing. But then you give Ultra freaking Dante, and you probably make him a way better team. Man, now I'm trying to think about AR options here, and I'm trying to go AR options right now. Because, like, a player of Dante's caliber to trade, oh my God, like, you could got nasty maybe. But you're not going to send the Boston Breach, you know? And maybe a Booza. No, actually, freaking FaZe doesn't want him. FaZe doesn't want him for sure. Can't do OpTic. Yeah, God. MC maybe. MC, like maybe put Sib on Falcons. Take MC. Probably work. It just shows you how much the lack of AR quality. Vancouver Surge got like nobody. Koi's not going to give up Kips. Falcons has MC. That's like it. OpTic's not doing anything. Miami's all Spanish. LA Thieves not giving up anyone. Because they just won. You don't really want anyone from G2 anyway. FaZe isn't going to do anything. Cloud9 has nobody for you in terms of ARs. Carolina's got nobody that you would want. And Boston's only got Nasty. And like they tried for Nasty and it didn't work. So, unbelievable. But I mean, I'm just going to wrap that up there. That's Envoy. Going to G2. And how do I think it's going to do? Okay, how do I think it's going to do? First, let me talk about how I think Estrel's going to do. I think Estrel definitely needs to improve his comms. He's a very shy guy. I see the way that Looney talks about him. If you don't know, Looney's the head coach of G2. He's been the head coach this whole time. Just in case like you need to know where some blame goes, I don't know. But everyone speaks very highly of Estrel. And gameplay-wise on the team he was on to average a 1.05 with the highest objective on his team is very impressive. And he was doing good in every single mode. Just a slept-on player. And him finally getting the opportunity to play with better players, it's a very good chance for him to shine, especially at the business end of the season. Now when everyone knows how to play the game and he's playing with people that have won this year. So now he can finally know what it's like to actually compete for championships. And we'll see if he actually ends up being the player that everyone speaks of him to be. Because it's a very good opportunity. He's got Major 4, he's got champs, he's got EWC to really show something. And he's going to go into this Major 4 with the home crowd, which is even better. I do think he needs to like add that element to his game though, because the comms are very important. And you lose Envoy, who I thought in a team with Neptune, Ghosty, Envoy, and Sib was like one of the only two people like, let's say for the past 2 months or the last month, they've been doing every single listen-in with Paris. I feel like it's only been Neptune and Envoy that are, like, super trying in the comms. Dante is a zombie, barely talking. Like, I think he just wanted the roster change months ago. Like, he was already over it. And Ghosty only comms good if he's actually feeling it, if he's in a good mood. If he isn't in a good mood, not coming that great. Probably spends more time complaining. There's only like 2 people that no matter what's going on in the game are constantly going hard, and then the other 2 all depends on what's going on. And I think it's so funny because everyone talked about Sib's comms were terrible, and then the second they started saying on the flank in my podcast, literally like the following next game they're going to listen in, he's trying a bit harder, which is actually hilarious. But in a team with Sib, Ghosty, Neptune, and Estriel, we're definitely going to need to see some heightened comms in Estriel's gameplay. Like, it's one thing if you comment, oh yeah, like this person died here, like, you know, that's like very simple. Like, I need to see who's going to be the new leader. Like, let's see if now that Envoy's gone and maybe if Ghosty and Sib were disagreeing with him, let's see if now him being gone is going to liven up the team. And let's see if we get more motivation out of them in like comms. I want to see what the comms are like. I can't wait for that first listen, and I'm going to be watching that game very, very closely. And let's talk about, okay, now I actually want to talk about Envoy. Okay, I want to talk about Envoy. This G2 roster, okay? This G2 roster. Okay, let's talk about this G2 roster. So G2, obviously, Estriel went to Paris. And then they got rid of Mamba, who I didn't even bother putting. I should actually freaking pull up that picture. I should pull up the picture. I really should. I should do my due diligence here. Do my due diligence. Look, they didn't even tweet on like Ronnie Intel. They just said that's not even worth it. They said that's not even worth it. Oh, how the times have changed, okay? Oh, the times have changed, okay? I'm not trying to dance on anyone's grave, okay? Not trying to dance on anyone's grave, but do you guys remember that tweet from earlier in the year when I said that G2 team had no idea what they were doing? And then Mamba replies, you have no idea what you're talking about. And now we're seeing a goodbye tweet to Mamba. It gets dropped on his head. Looks like he had no idea what he was doing, you know? So, and now look at the team he ends up on. I'm going to get back to Envoy Nasty. I'm sorry, I just got sidetracked. Okay, I just got sidetracked. Going from G2 to Vancouver Surge. Wow. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, okay? Crazy Mamba trying to rekindle their omit Brooklyn magic on a Vancouver Surge team. And I'm not going to lie, guys, okay? I saw this post from Intel, okay, after work. I got home pretty late today. Craze Mamba in, Gwyn and TJ out. And I'm not going to lie, I was in the kitchen, I was eating. There's a very good deal going on. I freaking KFC, by the way. It was like a $4.49 combo. That's what I was eating. I was sitting in the kitchen eating, and I was staring at this picture. The same picture you guys are seeing right now with Crazy Mamba in, Gwyn and TJ out. And I know that Lunars is there because, you know, can't deny he's the franchise of Vancouver Surge. Not sure if that's much to be proud of. But he's the franchise of that team. For some reason, that's the guy they just want to keep. Okay, that's just the guy they just want to keep. But I was like, Lunars, Craze, Mamba. And I sat there for 5 minutes. And I was thinking, who is the fourth on Vancouver Surge? Who is the fourth on that team? And I sat there. I'm like, okay, I can't waste time no more. Open up the comments, find out it's Nero. How could I forget E-Girl Slayer Nero? How could I forget? And I'm like, that's kind of a bad thing. Like, don't you think? I mean, obviously, maybe other people knew. Maybe other people will remember. But I'm the number one CDL. I know every player on every team. The fact that I sat there for 5 minutes and for some reason just could not figure out the name of the fourth person on Vancouver Surge just shows you how irrelevant this team is. And you could say it's Crazy Mamba. They took down FaZe. That FaZe team last year at EWC was already compromised. That team was already an old horse going to the back of the shed. All Crazy Mamba were doing was just loading the gun. You know, that's all they were doing. And I don't think it makes Vancouver. Actually, you want? I actually think it does make them better because upgrading from a TJ and Gwyn and Capsule, I mean, I did say that Gwyn is the highest skilled person on that team, but I mean, I freaking guess Vancouver doesn't care about that. A team of Craze, Mamba, and Nero and Lunars looks like a team with a lot of pace. Obviously, Lunar's probably going to be the slowest person on that team, probably going to be hard baiting a lot, going to be hard baiting Craze. But do I think this team gets any better? It's Craze, Mamba, Lunars, and Nero. 4 absolute misfits from challengers somehow got a CDL team and locked it down. And are probably going to gatekeep it. And then you got Ricky Atora, who has just went on a LeBron James Cleveland Cavalier playoff run of just terrible roster decisions. So, I mean, I just have no faith in this team, okay? I got no faith in this team. I'm sorry. Okay? And also, something I want to bring up. So, for those of you who didn't hear like the Dope Check podcast, there was like a clip on Twitter of Temp talking about Gwyn and saying how he hasn't heard anyone in the league say anything. I'm not going to say positive, but everyone thinks he's like weird, or like not everyone thinks he's weird, but just no one says anything about him. Like, oh, like he's like a cool guy. Oh, all that stuff. Pretty much saying he's like an outcast, like a weirdo, like that type of person. And you know what? I usually don't believe everything I hear, like right when I hear it, okay? I don't really believe everything I hear right when I hear it. I'm not really that type of person. And especially on the Dope Check where, you know, when I was the topic of conversation on that podcast and they spent the whole time making assumptions without having actual information in front of them, you know? So definitely didn't help. But, you know, I was looking at that post and I couldn't help but see that Gwynzat was in it. And, you know, sometimes when you're looking at a Twitter post and you see a person's ad in it, you can't help but just go and click on it. And I click on it. And I see that Gwyn has me blocked on Twitter. And I have never talked to this man in my life. And the only time I've ever brought up Gwyn on Twitter was saying he's the best person on this team. They got to keep him on the team. You know, which means someone just like, and the second I saw that, I was like, okay, this guy probably is weird, okay? But, you know, that's a little bit of like a little bit of a biased opinion. Every team Gwyn and TJ have been on has not been good, okay? They need to not team together like ever again. Like if I see him on another team, then somebody in the Call of Duty League has to be held responsible because who's even allowing this? Like if I see them on a team together next year or something, okay, bro. I'm inquiring, bro. I'm reaching out to the league in Columbus. I'm reaching out. I have contacts. I'm reaching out. But this Vancouver Surge team, absolutely hopeless. And we might as well just get into Craze since we're already on topic. So Craze got released from Royal Ravens. Goes from Royal Ravens down to Vancouver Surge. What a fall from grace. You know, just on a team just playing. You know, just collecting a salary. But, you know, Royal Ravens did get this man. They did get Standy, a player who I've been trying to get, or not trying to get in the league, but just saying should be in the league. And, you know, I kind of wanted him to have a chance, just like Ojani on, like, a better team. But, you know, this Carolina team, on paper, is not that bad. He's got a really good SMG duo in Lurks. They could do a lot of damage. I just think the ARs are very lackluster because both their ARs don't even move. Fire's just a pre-aim demon. And Exceed, for some reason, is on his Sky shit when he just sees he has other fast people around him and he feels like he has to play slow. And yes, sometimes you could block a spawn, but you need to play at the same pace as your team. AR or SMG, wherever your team is, you need to be in a scenario where you're watching over them, where you're in a trade position. I don't think those values should be lost just because you're an AR player. I still think you need to play with your team in this game all the time. Okay? Use the pace of Lurks. Use the pace of Standy to get into good positions with the AR and be impactful. And always make sure spots on the map are covered up when SMGs go down. But, you know, I feel like it's just very slow. Like, Fire and Exceed. It's so funny. Fire, Exceed, Standy. 3 players last year. I was like, they need to be back in the league. Like, they need another chance. All 3 of those players are on the same team. So all 3 of them need to figure it out because they're not making champs. I mean, they got the hardest schedule. This is probably, honestly, the worst time for Standy to ever come in on the team he's coming in at because he's literally, like, I've talked about Carolina's schedule. I've talked about it, and it is not good, guys, okay? It is not good. What a time for Standy to come in as they face Koi and Paris this weekend. And then next weekend, or not next weekend, because there's a minor 3 tourney next weekend. The week after that week, OpTic Texas, Riyadh Falcons, and then closing it off with FaZe the week after that. I mean, not a good schedule, which means they're probably going to go like 1-4. I'd be surprised if they got more than a win, to be honest. I would be, but I mean, it's on the qualifiers. You know, a lot of these teams are probably just practicing map pool, to be honest. So there is some hope there. I kind of feel bad. I mean, I understand just taking the first situation that you just have to. You know, you just have to take whatever comes your way. Just have to take it. But man. And I mean, it's a lot better than just like bouncing around on Omit team, going from Omit to like Falcons Academy. At least you're back in the league where you're scrimming pro players all day, every day, and you're playing against them. And you can at least make an impact and have good statistics, and then you'll be in consideration like for next year easily, as opposed to just being a challenger. So at least he's like back in the league playing good. So now he could like get back in that circle, you know, get back in that circle. So it could just be like a good end of the year move for him to just get back in the network of pro players, because, you know, he's been out of it for a while now. He got excommunicated. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, MW3, but it's like, it feels like it's been an eternity, honestly. It feels like he hasn't played in a long time. But happy that he's back. It's a great upgrade from Craze, because Craze is just sprinting into Iron, same thing as Envoy. It's like a lot of players just have that sprint into stuff and don't pre-aim more. So I'm glad that he's back in the league. These 3 players got to figure out Fire, Exceed, Standy. They got to lock in. And, you know, we'll be watching their matches this weekend, and I'll probably be analyzing it because, yeah. And even has OBJ in his bio. Like, so maybe he's going to become an OBJ player. I don't know. Maybe he's becoming an OBG player, which would be great for this team, honestly. But I feel like he should be more of like a kill whore with lurks, and the other 2 should kind of pick up the objective responsibilities. But that's just my opinion. And then I'm not going to talk about the map pool yet. And then obviously Mamba, whatever. He's gone. And then Envoy and Nasty on G2. They're there, you know. Envoy and Nasty are there. So now it's Envoy, Nasty, Skies, and Crimp. And yes, Skies has survived another roster mania. He's going to be on G2 pretty much for the end of the year at this point, because I don't see him making another change. The scariest thing to me about this roster, okay? The scary part for me, as GG Breaking Point updates this faster than than the Call of Duty League website could ever do. The scariest thing, because it is an upgrade. Dropping Mamba is an upgrade. Getting Nasty is an upgrade. And now I feel like you're going to have like 4 players on a team that all feel confident enough in each other like to do something. But the thing is, Envoy and Skies, it's the same thing with Insight. They're just very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. And like they have high ceilings, but you just never know when you're going to get that ceiling. And even Nasty is a very good player, but Nasty has inconsistencies as well. Like they're all great players. And even Kremp has inconsistencies, but his is like a 0.98 with like the most interactions on the team. Like I don't think he ever gets like railed in his costing. He's never like that. He's always still putting in damage, still being an engagement farmer, which means a lot more as an SMG than it does as an AR, by the way, when you talk about damage, because it means you're really running in there, getting everyone weak all the time. But I mean, obviously you do have to finish kills as well. This is going to be an upgrade. I feel like if they got a better slaying AR, it'd be better, but I understand why they're keeping Skies. I could tell that was a loony decision. I could tell it's a loony decision for sure. Just keeping a veteran on the team, someone who understands the game, someone that snipes, someone that snipes in S&D seems to be very important nowadays. I just think this team's still going to be inconsistent. After seeing how Envoy played at the Major 1 tourney, I know he's a very smart player. I don't think anyone could take that away from Envoy, but it's just the consistency. I'm so confused now because Envoy on his team could not be the number one objective player. It was freaking Ghosty. But now coming to this team, it's not going to be Crimp, so it has to be Envoy. So why couldn't Envoy do that in Paris? Now he's going to have to do it on this team, or it's going to have to be Skies. But I just... it looks good on paper. It looks like an upgrade, and it is an upgrade. You're literally getting Envoy for Estriel, and you could say Estriel's outperforming Envoy this season, but just name value, Envoy brings experience. He brings, the pedigree. He knows what it's like to win, and he's ran, every single role as an SMG player. He knows how to adapt to everyone that he plays with, and he brings great comms. Some that Estriel does not really have. And then Nasty also has good comms. Skies could have good comms. Crimp has a decent comms as well. It's just, I think the slang might be pretty inconsistent, but I feel like they're going to have some very underrated teamwork, pretty quickly. They're going to have some underrated teamwork, and they should contest with most of the mid-pack. I just hope that they can find some level of consistency. I hope Envoy sort of changes the way that he plays a little bit, and I'm curious to see in the first game what their dynamic's going to be, and we're going to be analyzing it obviously on YouTube and on Twitter. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, BORI70S, as I make the best analysis tweets in the game. But the SG2 roster, I'm excited to see how they're going to play. I would feel like Skies is probably going to take a lot of objective responsibility now. I can't even imagine a world where Skies continues to get away with what he's doing right now. I mean, granted, a 66 objective per 10 is not bad, but he needs to get up past 70. He needs to be pretty much at Estriel's number, honestly. It should be him and Envoy. Envoy just needs to go back to being a good little boy on the hill and just being able to hold his own on the hill. If he could hold his own on the hill and keep up the pace and allow Kremp to do whatever and allow Nasty to plug and fill, Nasty could plug and fill, rotate with Envoy and who's getting the hill or not. If Skies isn't on it and Skies has to pick up a lane because the last guy of spawn, there's some potential. And looking at them just off paper and looking at their pictures, these look like 4 players who could actually get along outside the game and actually talk with each other. There's a lot of teams I don't say that about, but I could say it about G2, and that is 100% them. They could definitely get along outside the game. And, yeah, it's just a matter if they find the consistency. I'm not sure if they'll actually find it or not. And then just going into, the map updates real quick. I mean, the map updates are not even... they're not even anything crazy, to be honest. Clifftown's out. They never even played it. They're adding a Hacienda Hardpoint in, which means I think these 5 maps that we have, or 6 maps for Hardpoint, are probably the best we're going to get in terms of the year. I do still think Utopia definitely could have been in there for Gridlock. I think Gridlock is a pretty newbie map, honestly. I think the more I play Gridlock Hardpoint, I realize how good everyone could be on it just because of how easy it is to hold down P2 and P3. It's a very simple map to hold down. And I am a big fan of being able to get to a hill first and being able to hold it. And you should be able to punch the other team for that. But that map, just the P2 and P3 alone, is a red flag. And it's a newbie evener. Honestly, it's a newbie evener. There's a reason why, teams like Vancouver almost beating bigger teams on that map. There's a reason why no one can consistently win that map all the time, because of how fluky it is. And no one is playing Clifftown anyway. Such a shame. And then Plaza and Scar. I finally no longer have to watch a Scar S&D in my life. I'm so happy. I no longer have to watch a Scar S&D. And this is probably the best S&D map pool we've ever had. In this game, by the way. And probably even last year too. I'm still confused why Meltdown wasn't added in. I'll probably never understand it. But I like Dan S&D. Gridlock S&D is good. Raid S&D is good. Fringe is good. Sake is actually good. It's actually very slept on, and they added Hacienda. If they put Meltdown in for even Fringe, But, you know, Fringe isn't in the other game modes, so they kind of want to keep it in for Fringe, so I guess that makes sense. If you just took out, I mean, it'd have to be Sake, honestly. It'd have to be Sake. Freaking Meltdown should be in there somewhere. Meltdown's got to be in there. Unbelievable. And then for Overload, they added Gridlock Overload. Very interesting. I don't think it's good, by the way. I don't think it's good. I played it. It's not good. Okay. Back when they were map testing it before. Played it, it was not good, but I mean, it could be another Scar where it's not good, and then the more and more and more and more you play it, the better it gets. I don't think so, honestly. I think it's just not a good map. I just knew they were going to add it anyway, because obviously it's just a map that no one's even going to take the time to even look at or play. But I'm a big fan. I even forgot the name of the map. Oh my god. It's a snow map. Oh my god. No. We're not doing this. I'm typing right now. I need the maps right now. It's Beacon, right? It's Beacon. I think it's called Beacon. Actually, maybe Tweakin. It is Beacon. Okay, it actually is Beacon. Beacon Overload. I promise you guys. Beacon Overload. I am going to find a way to getting 8 people in the lobby to play a map has been a chore. Granted, I haven't tried super duper hard for it, but it's been a chore. Okay, it's been a chore. And that pretty much wraps up the rosters as we're going to take a look. Oh, no, it actually does it. So now we're just going to open up like the full thing right here. We're going to talk about these rosters. Obviously, FaZe is the same. Vancouver sucks. Koi, keeping Insight. I mean, all I can say about that is like they're honestly going to pay. That's all I could say. Like they're honestly going to pay. I mean, you reap what you sow, and you know that's the player they're choosing to stick with, and they're gonna continue to suffer for it. Falcons wasn't gonna make any changes. I mean, they're not gonna do anything. Talked about the mates. Estro's a very good pickup. I just don't know how the comms are gonna be and everything. I just don't know. And then Cloud9, I mean, we don't even waste time on Cloud9. I mean, we just don't waste time on them at all. Just a terrible team. And then G2, we talked about them. Very interested to see how the teamwork gets along. The teamwork's going to be everything for that team, and it's going to be... And I mean, Kremp finally at least has a player like Envoy. He finally gets to see what it's like to play with like a better, higher caliber player. So we'll see what he learns from that and how those two play off each other. It's going to be very interesting. An Envoy Kremp SMG duo. Going to be very interesting. And then Miami's obviously the same, but you know, Real just tweeted, okay? Real tweeted, and I mean, I don't even like the tweet. I don't even know how to spell his name. I always forget if it's like 2 A's or 2 M's. I think it's 2 E's. It is 2 E's, okay. It is 2 E's. I don't know what I said. I think I said 2 M's. Anyways, he said visa has been approved. In my opinion, okay? In my opinion, if I am Miami, do not make that change. Okay? I watch Real against Koi. I watch Real with Koi. I watch Real in challengers. And I've just came to the conclusion this game is not for him. He's way too baity, way too slow of a player for this game. And you slot him in for medals, you slot him in for trakes, you get no positive. There is literally zero positive, okay? There's literally zero positive. You replace him for Trakes. Trake already has like a low objective per 10 because he's sprinting around. He's the engagement monster of the team. Real doesn't bring any objective on the team. So you replace a medals and you essentially have 4 players who aren't hopping on the hill. I mean, obviously Renkor's been hopping on the hill more, but you know what I mean. And then you replace Trakes, who is in his rookie year playing phenomenal, who's actually improving as the year goes on, like I said he would, and is actually now becoming a freaking A-tier player, honestly. Like, he's getting better and better. Like, I even see the way he reads in S&D. Like, this guy's becoming a joke. Like, he's becoming a joke, and he's going to get even better. So you're going to hinder his growth to bring back Real. Like, you know, there's no good option here. And the only upside I could say to a potential Real move is that I know Miami knows how to play when Real's in the team. Like, I watched it in Black Ops 6, the way Miami played, it would be Rencor, Super, and Medals all doing their own thing, and they would just leave Real just to be the island player the whole time. And, to an extent, that dynamic actually worked a lot. And, they probably could have won something, but, like they trolled that EWC against OpTic on Hacienda Control because no one knew what to do with the 4 down when they're all spawning back spawn. Anyways, but, yeah, but Miami kind of trolled that. And they do know how to play with Real. That is the only positive I could say. They do know how to play with them, but I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. And I'm not really in the camp of people, it's Meadows getting costed. He's flying out. Everyone's hard baiting him. Bro, he's an SMG player. I watch him take routes all the time. I don't think he's getting baited. Obviously, Super's a little bit slower, I'm not going to lie. And Rancor, you never know if you're going to get like a fast engagement Rancor, or you're going to get one who's on the hill. Never know what version you're going to get. And Triggs is just sprinting around. So by default, Meadows is going to look like that player who's just like getting baited. But I just think it's more like just everyone else just doesn't really play the game the correct way all the time. Like, they're all very smart players. I think Super is super smart. I literally say all the time. But, there's just a certain way you need to play off like your teammates. Like, they're very good when it comes to holding hills and playing off their teammates. But I think they need to figure out how to hold a hill, for example. I actually just contradicted myself. But I'm just like thinking about the Blackheart play. And I never even got a chance to make a video on it. But maybe I will after Major 4. But yeah, this Miami team, I don't even think they should do Real at all. I don't think they should even bring him in. But they just approved his visa, so he's literally going to come in. So the team's going to get ruined. And I'm literally going to call it right now. If Real comes in, the team's ruined. And that's all I'm going to say. And then LA Thieves, pretty much the exact same. I already talked about what they have to work on stream. Their overload, Aniem's island play, he needs to work on individually, and just overall their ball recovery whenever they score, they need to work on. In hardpoint, they need to find a little bit more consistency in hardpoint. I think their comms in hardpoint need a lot of work, and I feel like this is a team that should be dominating hardpoint and learning how to play off each other more, and I don't think they do it enough in hardpoint. Their S&D, surprisingly, is like the best thing about them, and now that Plaza's out, it's actually even better for them. And it's way worse for OpTic. OpTic can't play that shit no more. And there's no Scar, which LAT was like very good on. So now, teams don't have to ban that map against them. But, now you got better maps. You do got better maps now. I literally forgot the maps were. I'm literally now thinking as I'm talking the whole time. Like, I just forgot all the maps that just came in. Hacienda. There you go. It was Hacienda that got added in for S&D. Of course. Hacienda and Sake, S&D. I think, the thing about Sake is like the one bomb site on P1 is extremely close. It feels close, but the other bomb site looks like a very tactical bomb site. I feel like we're going to be seeing some interesting search and destroy on Sake. I think it's going to be a very good map, way better than Scar for sure, and way better than Plaza, obviously. Then talked about the Lurks team, talked about the Roll Ravens team. I think a Lurks and Standy SMG duo is very good. I think the ARs, the two homies, exceed in fire. I think they need to just be faster. If they can match the pace of Standy and Lurks, this team could actually be a very sleeper team and cause some upsets in this Major 4. And then the one team I didn't talk about, but man, what more can I say about Boston I haven't said already, okay? Purge, terrorizing the organization, how he's managed to survive the whole season and not get dropped, putting up the numbers he's put up, I will never understand, okay? I will legit never understand for the rest of my life. I don't care what they even say in the offseason. Whatever they tell me, it just won't work on me, okay? I just won't believe anything. It'll be like a baby you're trying to airplane spoon feed to. I don't want none of it. I don't want it. I don't want to know. Purge being I just don't understand. I just don't understand, okay? Spart joined this team. He's in hell, but now he's got his T-Bush duo TJ. Friendship League, another thing. How was TJ getting on another team? Okay? I know why, okay? It's networking. It's friendship. And that's a very good thing from TJ. Being able to just coast all year, just being homies with everyone. Everyone likes him. He's able to get on all these teams all the time. Why is he still in the league? Okay? Respectfully. I'm not saying he's a horrible player, but he's not a great player. And there are way more deserving players who like could actually do something and deserve a chance to make an impact. And TJ's just getting chance after chance after chance. He literally hasn't won since Black Ops 4, okay? Okay, on that crazy OpTic team. Just been coasting the whole time. And he's been able to get away with it for over half a decade. So, I mean, you have to tip it. You have to give kudos. You got to give respect to that. I mean, that is tippable. Shows you what networking could do. And Nasty got to learn some from that. Nasty got to learn some. Learn how to network. Learn how to be friends with people. It could get you. If TJ was actually a good player, I mean, like, holy cow, the teams he would be on, bro. If he was actually a good player, if he was averaging like a 1.05, this guy would be on OpTic. This guy would be on Paris right now. You know, this guy would be replacing Envoy right now. But, you know, he's a mediocre friendship guy with everybody, so he ends up on Boston Breach. And then Afro, okay? I just made a tweet about it, okay? This poor guy Afro. This guy has worked tremendously hard. In Black Ops 6, he was in EU Challengers, okay? EU Challengers. Running the EU scene over there in Challengers. Coming to North American lands with his EU team. Not scrimming NA Challengers teams at all. Showing up off a EU practice and beating NA teams and even winning a Challengers LAN or two. I'm not sure how many like they won. I think they won one. Like, this guy's been undeniable. And then shows up this year on Cloud9, gets dropped, goes right into Challengers, wins the next one. Undeniable. Right away. Goes right back in. I just feel bad that all of his hard work and all he's got to show for it is being on C9 Blue and C9 Green, aka Boston Breach. All of his hard work, he ends up on Cloud9 and he ends up on a team with Purge and TJ Haley. It's like the fruits of his labor do not taste that good right now. They do not taste good at all. Like, I feel so bad. All the hard work just gets you on just horrible rosters. Like, this guy's probably thinking, man, I should have got that Paris spot, man. Put me on that Paris team, man. Like, I should be doing some. But Escher's obviously been playing way better than him. But Afro probably thinks in his head, man, if I actually just, like, had better statistics or something, like, that could have been me going to Paris or something. Like, that could have been him on a better team like that. But his hard work and what he's got to show for it is these average teams. I don't know. Purge on a flex is even worse. I just don't understand. I just don't understand how they just don't want to drop him. Like, go pick up Beans or DiamondCon or something. Do something with anyone. I don't care. Take anyone. Get this Purge guy off the team, man. I bet you Shawnee, who is the coach of the team, by the way, probably thinks he's like a leader, you know, that type of player. I'm just not buying it, okay? I'm just not buying it, okay? Not buying it. And I'm sick of it, okay? I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of recording this episode. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, guys, I'm just going to make sure nothing else popped on time. There's no way nothing else popped on time. That'd be insane. But yeah, that is it for this episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I just wanted to do a nice short episode. Just wanted to keep recording, talk about the podcast. This is indeed the first episode under an hour, and I didn't say it ahead of time. And it actually happened. This is the first episode under an hour, and Lord knows how long. But I mean, yeah, guys, if you want to help me as I battle my way in court, just like the video, send the podcast to someone, subscribe on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. This has been another episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I am your host, Borito, the #1 CDL ESPN analyst / content creator in the world, saying au revoir, goodbye. We'll see you next time. Peace.